Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is all about the next steps into getting into serious makeup. Now you have your favorite foundation, you might use a little bit of bronzer or tinted moisturizer, but we're gonna really get into the tools and the other things that you need to really glam it up on a regular basis. So let's get right into it. So the number one thing you need to have in Makeup 201 is a primer. Yes, it matters. So all primers don't complement every foundation, so a major thing to do is to maybe have one or two, but start off with one. My favorite is the Tatcha Silk Canvas. This one pretty much works with most foundations and it leaves you looking like a filter is on your face. This is one of my faves and it's always voted in top 10 primers. If you check any of the beauty blogs or Into the Gloss, like this one is always mentioned. Another two of my faves are the Pat McGrath Skin Labs primer. This thing is so silky smooth. I love the way it complements the foundation that I use. And I also have the Dior Backstage Universal Primer, which complements the Dior Backstage foundation, which I also use a lot. So I use these two to complement my foundations that are my go-tos. And then for other foundations, I typically use this one. Primers are must-have when building your makeup kit, and you're definitely going to need a bigger makeup bag after this. Another thing is color correctors. If someone has an issue with their skin from melasma, dark spots, under eye circles, or just covering up a scar, so color correctors come in several different colors. There's purple, there's the yellow, there's red, there's oranges. So typically I use the more redder tone or the yellow tone just because I have more yellow tone undertones and to brighten up my under eye. And then around my mouth, I do get waxing, but when I'm not waxing, it's a little bit darker. So to even that out, I use the red undertones for that. But my go-to is the yellow color corrector. That is definitely, I think, more important than having multiple foundations. Starting out, I think color corrector is perfect to do either under your concealer or under your foundation, depending on your makeup routine. You definitely need to add that in. Next is having multiple shades of foundation. So one of my favorite foundations of all times is the Giorgio Armani Silk Foundation. I am normally a 13, but I also have 13.5 and I also have 10. I usually mix these two together when I have an in-between color, but this one is typically, number 13 is a perfect match for my skin tone. So definitely need to have multiple shades of foundation because your skin tone changes throughout the year. Winter months, I'm a lot lighter. My undertones of yellow show much more during the winter time. And then in the summertime, I might get 2 shades darker. I actually might need a shade darker than 13.5. So definitely have multiple foundations into your kit. Now moving right along, brushes. So you might have your beauty blender and maybe a powder brush, but you need way more brushes than that doing your makeup. So these are typically what I use on a regular basis. I have a more tapered brush for my bronzer, but I also do have a fluffier brush that's still tapered. These are perfect for blending out my bronzer on a regular basis, and I also blend out contouring when I do that also. Other foundation, this is the more angled one for contouring. I don't use this one that much. I actually prefer the tapered brushes to the angled brush for contouring. You will need a big fluffy brush for powder. I use this for pressed powder and loose powder, works really well. And then I have 2 foundation brushes, which are my favorite. This one, I was strictly using it with my Pat McGrath. I bought the whole kit because I'm just obsessed with everything. This one works good with other liquid foundations and also the Hourglass. This one is like my other holy grail of brushes. And then also, I do wear blush from time to time, so a good blush brush, because some blushes come with brushes. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. But they're always really little, and I don't feel like I have enough control, or I'm applying too much in a concentrated area. So a bigger brush for blushing is always perfect. And then moving right along to eyeshadows. So these are, you can tell how many times I've used these. They're all beat up from washing. So, oh, sorry, highlighter brush, slightly angled, feather it out. Definitely need a highlighter brush. Now eyelash brushes. So this one is a tapered one that's slightly more fluffy for, and then more of a tapered one that's not as fluffy for more control when applying your eyeshadows. Definitely a flat one is great for eyeshadows, and then you need one that's short and flat just for getting for underneath the eyes, and then just, you know, in the crease, or you can have an angled one for a crease. And this one's also good for blending out. And I also like the tapered one for blending. So these two are more concentrated for those. And then you're all set. I think having these key tools in your makeup bag will definitely help you build along the way. And it's just a great way to start out. So not having like multiple highlighters, liquid highlighters, that's a little further down the line, but definitely having something for powder, something for liquid foundation. You can use your beauty blender for most things, but it's definitely better to have the tools that work really well. Certain liquid foundations don't work well with the beauty blenders. Take, for instance, the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Foundation. It basically picks it up if you're using a beauty blender. So the liquid foundation actually is better applied with a brush, and you get more use out of your products having the correct tools. So that's what this is all about. Having the correct tools and the foundation for your makeup will definitely stretch your makeup out. Your makeup's gonna be applied better, and you're just gonna look more flawless and more confident. I hope you enjoyed this video this week. I'll see you guys next week. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Bye.